Thank you, President. Can I start by saying it's very good to see Commissioner Wallström in the room and Cecilia Malmström, Presidency in office, because of course we were both engaged from 1999 in the beginning of this dossier. It's interesting to reflect that what we achieved in our agreement in May 2001 was somehow historic. Amongst 15 member states coming from different traditions and different cultures and different approaches to openness and transparency, we managed to reach an agreement. And interestingly, in no small way, I think that was due to the determination, interestingly, of the then Swedish presidency. It was also due to the determination of the Commission to recognise that all of the three institutions needed a cultural change. We needed to see that openness and transparency didn't prevent democracy from flourishing, it actually improved it. It allowed accountability. It allowed citizens to see what was being done in their name. And arguably, it helped us to lift the curtain to prove once and for all that there were no terrible secrets hidden in the safes of the Commission and the Council. I'm not so sure about the Parliament, but hopefully not in the Parliament's safes either. So I wanted to thank in particular the Commissioner and, if I may refer to my dear colleague Cecilia Malmström, for that commitment. Because now we need another commitment. We've achieved, as I said, a huge amount. We have a register of documents. We have the jurisprudence of the ECJ, now defining and redefining what was originally agreed on access to documents. We've accepted the principle that all documents should remain accessible, and that where not accessible, they should be reasoned against. Access should be reasoned against quite clearly, and specifically in reference to either Article 4, the exemptions, or Article 9, sensitive documents. But as we've moved on, and the Parliament has called repeatedly for a revision, I believe that the revision, and I know we have a difference of opinion on this, that the revision that was placed before the Parliament and which we subsequently voted in committee and deferred our first reading on in March of this year, that revision provided by the Commission did not go far enough. And equally, there were concerns, and those concerns still remain in our House, that there was an attempt to claw back on access to documents, not least in the redefining of documents, the notion that whole files could be exempted, and attempting to redefine the notion of the third-party veto. It's interesting, our citizens sitting in the gallery must be thinking that we're talking about something that happens in outer space. Articles, third-party vetoes. But actually what we're talking about is a law that allows them to make sure that we're accountable. Parliamentarians accountable for what we do in their name. The Commission for what it does in their name, and equally the Council. Now, how can they do that and the NGOs do that if the way we work and who does what within all of the different units remains a well-kept secret, open only to those lobbyists and those lawyers who know? And that is what I believe is at the heart of the Treaty of Lisbon. It says that we need to further enhance democracy. We need to enhance access to documents. And that is why the Parliament, in this oral question, is calling for a whole range of recommendations to be undertaken. But basically, it is about ensuring that the rights that we have are built upon, that they are not diminished, and recognising that under Lisbon it's no longer just the three institutions, but all of the agencies and the bodies set up by them, including the European Central Bank, in some instances the European Court of Justice, the European Investment Bank, Europol, Eurojust. All of these institutions are now accountable under Regulation 1049. We believe that the proposals that have been brought forward since the entry into force of the Lisbon Treaty do not match either the spirit or the letter of that treaty, or indeed the obligations that we believe are contained within the original regulation 1049/2001, and for the benefit of our listeners, which is public access to all the documents held, received or produced by the three institutions. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Cashman. Now, Madam Malmström, for the Council.
Så mycket, herr talman, och tack till Europaparlamentet.
Thank you, President. I'd also like to thank the European Parliament, which, through Michael Cashman, asked this oral question. Transparency is a key issue for the Swedish presidency, and we have